There we go. Had to figure out which buttons to hit. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Ram Show. It is, what is today? August 2017. Oh my goodness. I can't believe it's August already. What about you, Zach? Wow, you probably don't care.
It's August. Great. I don't know.
It's getting closer to the end of the year and everything. I don't know. For me, like, years seem to be like I remember when I was young, like, it seemed like a year took forever to get through, and now it seems like a year is just like it goes by really quick. But I don't know. Maybe that's because I'm older and there's more stuff going on, and I don't know.
It's probably just because you're looking back on it. Looking back, everything seems fast.
Yeah, that could be. You know what? I am excited though. So I think I looked. I have like 7 or 8 more payments to make on my truck. I'm getting so excited because as soon as we have that paid off, I can start putting some money
Nice
away.
PC, right?
Yes, exactly. I want to build Redmond, so I'm getting excited for that. So now we were talking about this before we started the stream. And I want your opinion on this. So we were talking about, and we have this coming up later on in the RAM show this week. AMD has released the Vega cards, or some of them at least. Well, is it all of them, or is it just some of them?
They've only released the Founders Edition.
Okay, so anyway, what I was listening to Linus a few weeks ago, and he was saying that the card is not as impressive for gamers. Which
he's right.
You agreed with that.
I agree with that.
So and
it's not. It just isn't. Like it's on. It approaches the 1080. Some games it's better. Some games it's worse than a 1070. But I mean, I've actually. This is not based on any numbers I've seen, but I've heard that it is amazing for crypto miners. So
I've heard that too.
I bet those people are going to buy the crap out of these things.
Yeah.
If there is any weight to that at all.
Well, because the thing about, like, cryptocurrency isn't, like, it's just crunching numbers, basically, and GPUs are really, really good at crunching numbers.
Yep.
So, yeah. So, okay, and we'll get into this just a little bit here. So, when we're thinking about building Redmond here, Redmond will be basically my content creation beast. With gaming on the side, but I'm primarily going to be focusing on content creation. So we're talking Premiere, Blender, if I ever figure out how to actually 3D render things, Photoshop, stuff like that. So a lot of that is RAM intensive, but we of course with Premiere, I also want to be exporting stuff on the GPU side. So in terms of that, does Vega actually look good for what I'm thinking about doing with that?
That would be something to look up. I have not actually seen any numbers on that.
So, and in the future, what I thought would be really cool is because if you use, Adobe has like their media encoder thing with like watch folders, so you can like send stuff to basically a render server, which would be really cool if we got big enough to do that. And then, like,
that's cool.
Yeah, drop like a couple Titan-X blacks in there or whatever they are, and build a badass like rendering box or rendering server.
That's actually really cool sounding.
Right? Yeah. I have a name, Trixton Server. But of course, names can change.
I mean, I'll leave that to you.
Yeah,
I'm bad at names.
Yeah, we there is one name we'll avoid though.
Really?
Oh yes.
Oh right. Yeah, you made the joke a lot. I know exactly what it is.
We will never name a server Wattix. Sorry, Linus.
That sounds familiar.
Especially a data server. Yeah. Sorry, Linus. We had to. Anyway,
you had to.
Oh, come on. Don't get me wrong. Like, you thought it was funny too.
Just a bit.
All right. Let's get into our first topic for this week. Now, you've heard of a company called Red before, probably, right, Zach? They make super over-the-top expensive cameras.
No, I haven't. I don't deal in cameras.
Okay, so anyway, so Red is a company that makes like super over-the-top cameras, and now they're making a smartphone.
Well, this looks like a phone with an over-the-top camera, I think.
So we
Also,
we are getting
the top price tag. Jeez.
yeah, and you thought the we'll tell you what the price tag is in a moment, but you thought the iPhone was expensive.
Funny.
I think I found the company that prices their products even more outrageously than Apple, which I'm pretty sure you thought would never happen.
Well, I've been proven wrong.
But we're finally getting some more details on this new phone that's coming out from Red with a price tag of $1,200. $1,200 for a phone.
So what's so good about this phone that's going to make you want to spend $1,200 to have one?
Well, okay, first off, you have the Red tax in there, just like you have the Apple tax.
Really?
Because Red apparently is notorious for, like, overpricing their stuff. And, like, you...
Oh, well, that's fun.
Well, like, okay, so Linus did, like, a holy shite issue or episode on, like, his Red cameras that they bought. And, like, the camera itself was, like, double-digit thousands or whatever. And that didn't even include, like, the lenses and all the, like, handles and stuff to hold the thing.
But does it perform?
Oh, yeah. It's like an 8K camera.
Every now and then, you can get away with an absurd price tag if nobody else's product is as good as yours.
Yeah, well, like I said, I believe the ones that they have are, like, 8K cameras, because I think they're now shooting in 8K, which is just, like, ridiculous. 4K
I
is
mean,
even
gotta
awesome.
stay ahead, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, my view on 4K right now is that it's still kind of it's cool, but it's kind of a gimmick-ish.
Kind of sort of. It's becoming a little more mainstream, but
yeah. Like,
I mean,
don't
the
get me
one
wrong.
thing that I think, 4K gaming, no, not yet.
Not
Not
yet.
unless you have the biggest, baddest GPU on the market.
Yeah, that's true. Don't get me wrong though. Like, if Samsung like hit us up and we're like, "Hey, we want to send you, like 6 of our curved monitors, for 4K monitors," I'd be like, "Sure, send them out."
Maybe a desk too. They wouldn't fit.
Well, okay, and this is what I've said before in the past is like when I build Redmond, like I want to build a custom desk as well. Like I have a dual monitor setup right now. I want to have a triple monitor setup with like the curved monitors. But like my desk, like I want it to be like 6 feet long and like 3 feet deep. Like I want
I want to have a desk so that my third monitor doesn't have to have half of the base hanging off of the desk. That's,
Still, the thing that's most annoying to me about that whole setup is that like one of the monitors is like higher than the other or whatever it is. Like they're not all level. That just bugs the heck out of me because I'm OCD. But anyway, okay. So there was a video done by Marcus Brownlee on his YouTube channel. And Red basically let him basically look at the different prototypes of this. So I guess they had like maybe like 3D modeled ones or whatever. Let's see. That basically the models represent what the final phone is going to look like. One of them shows off the phone's new holographic display. I think that's holographic, unless it's supposed to be holographic. But I'm pretty sure.
holographic. Wait, what?
Oh,
Holographic. What is that?
Huh? Okay, I apparently just can't read. Holographic display. Which I believe is like you like watch the spy movies where like, they have the little camera thing and like the person pops up and like they're just floating there in or in space kind of thing.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
okay, how do I explain it? Like, um, or like, okay, here's a good example, like holographic keyboards. Like where you have like a little base and it shines a light and it's like basically just like a pattern of it, but it doesn't actually
To
exist.
appear that it has depth,
Um,
right?
I don't know how to explain it. It's like any spy movie where like, you know, the person pops out of like like it's like a virtual model of them, I guess. That's the best way I can explain it.
We'll just roll with it.
Anyway,
I still don't entirely know what you're talking about. We'll just pretend it's something really cool. I don't
anyway, so that's a holographic display, and a third that was a full separate camera module with its own lens and sensor. So it sounds like you could, in true Red fashion, you could strap like a module to it that has like a super over the top camera, I'm going to guess. Overall, though, this is just another big tease from Red, apparently. Because they've been showing this phone off to like celebrities like Brad Pitt, I guess. Probably to drive a bunch of buzz about it.
So why wouldn't you just buy a camera instead of this thing?
I would imagine that people who are buying this are buying it for the Red name.
Maybe, I guess. It sounds like a really, really niche product.
Like Red.
First of all, because of how much it costs, and second of all, because of what it does.
Hang on one second here. Trying to type and type, think, and talk all at the same time does not work. Oh, here we go. This is what I was looking for because Zach is super confused.
Oh, jeez.
Hang on. I gotta find a good image of it though. And you'll know exactly what it is when you see it.
Really? Okay. Well,
yeah.
hit me. I'll see.
Hang on. Like this is probably the best example I can give, but it's so small. But hang on. Let me hit some buttons here to make stuff happen. There we go. Okay. I know this is super small on screen, and Zach, you can't see it, so give me a moment here. I don't know if this is going to work. No, it's not. There. Try that.
Oh.
That's
Wait,
what
it's supposed to do something like that?
I
Probably not quite like that, but
but like,
how's that?
I have no clue. No, I guess it does because it in the article it talks about like a 4D instead of 3D. It talks about 4D, which I would imagine that's what they mean by that.
I don't entirely know what this is, but I mean, I guess we'll find out maybe.
So anyway, so first off, the thing is huge. In fact, you know what? Here's a great example. There we go. It looks to be about the same size, maybe a little bit bigger than the iPhone or the OnePlus, whatever that one is there. Maybe the OnePlus One or whatever. I don't know, or the OnePlus. I don't know what model they're up to now.
That OnePlus phone on the table next to it.
Yeah. So the Hydrogen One is about the same size as an iPhone 7 Plus, with a case on it. That's not terribly surprising considering how Reb wants this phone to be packed with bleeding edge tech, while serving as the base for a potentially huge modular camera system. A thin, small phone would not be good for that. So I don't know what they mean by the tech inside of it, but being that it's being made by Red and their camera company, it makes sense that the whole module camera thing is a thing on it. And that's probably
means camera and that weird screen.
Yeah, and that's the appeal for it, I would imagine, is the camera portion. I would imagine the people who are buying this phone are going to be camera enthusiasts who want to do super over-the-top video with a mobile device.
Maybe, yeah. I don't see much other reason to buy something like this, especially for that much money.
Right. Couple other details. The phone button will double as a fingerprint reader. There's a dedicated video recorder button. Stereo speakers on the front. Dual camera setup. That was hard to make out in the original press image. I don't know if that's this image here. Oh yeah, and unlike the iPhone, it has a headphone jack.
Oh, nice.
As for the unit that shows off the phone's holographic display, um, ho- holographic, holographic,
It's holographic.
holographic. I struggle with certain words sometimes. Um, Basically, all we get to see is the guy's reaction in the video, I guess. So we'll still have to wait on that. Um, but he says the screen creates a crazy deep sort of 3D look, but that it definitely wasn't perfect. So,
As expected with something like this that, we haven't
Yeah.
really heard of before. This is a little new.
yeah. So Red seems content with letting the slow drip of details continue, while fans of the company wrestle with the idea of dropping the $1,200 on this thing or more to pre-order one of these phones in the meantime. Um, they say, or Brownlee says, that Red will have a working prototype unit within the next 30 to 45 days. So, who knows? But it looks interesting. I don't think I would consider dropping the amount of money on it, though. Even though
No.
I think it would be totally cool to have something like that. I don't consider myself to be a camera freak, but I love. I wouldn't mind having a decent little camera in my phone. Although the iPhone's camera is not bad. I do have to say that. The iPhone's camera is not bad. So, moving on here. Let's see here. Oh, well, I know you don't have one, and maybe this is a good reason not to have one, Zach.
Really?
Well, let me do this. Dun dun dun. The Amazon Echo. Somebody has figured out how to hack the Amazon Echo and
So
on-
very unsurprising, I think.
and basically turn on the microphone.
Yep. Again, unsurprising.
So you're probably actually right, but I wouldn't be too concerned, and here is why. So hackers have figured out how to turn an Amazon Echo into a live microphone. So that's a thing. It was first reported by Wire, but the attack requires, get this, physical access to the device.
So maybe not such a big deal, but I mean,
That's why I said
all right,
I
say
wouldn't
they've
be
got
super
that figured
concerned.
out. How much of a stretch is it for them to turn that into, we can do that remotely now?
That is true. That is something to think about. Now, this is limited to the pre-2017 Echoes and would be difficult to deploy at scale. But when successful, it would allow hackers to pull a live feed of all audio within range of the device, even if the wake word hasn't been said. So, essentially, again, turning it into a live mic, which can either be a good thing or a bad thing. Most likely a bad thing.
Unless you ask for it, it's probably a bad thing, yeah.
Now, the method could also allow hackers to remotely retrieve authentication tokens and other sensitive data from the device. That, alone, the audio hack thing is, concerning, but when you start talking about getting authentication tokens and stuff like that, that makes it really concerning.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
So, a researcher named Mark Barnes laid out the attack in a blog post earlier last week. In simple terms, basically, I guess what happens is you boot the thing from an SD card, so I would imagine you have some type of firmware that you like flash to the device. Oh, actually, it looks like it runs like a
Or
live CD.
maybe it has a built-in way of booting to an external device, and it was only meant to be used by the company, but
Yeah, so
when I
it
figured
looks
it out,
like it looks like you load the SD card with the software, and then it runs like a live CD, basically.
yeah, so it boots from that. Yeah,
Yep, and then uses that access to retrieve the Echo's firmware. Okay, so you put it in, it retrieves the Echo firmware, and then once the firmware is rewritten, the hacked Echo can send all audio captured by the microphone to a third party, remaining compromised, even, and this is the scary part, even after the SD card is removed.
yeah, because it overwrote.
Exactly. So, like, again, and what I said at the beginning, like, I wouldn't be super concerned with this, but, like, if you're one of those people, I don't know how many people do this, but, like, if you took your Amazon Echo to, say, a hotel with you while you were on vacation or something like that, you know, some savvy maid or whoever comes in and, while you're gone,
Why would you take your Amazon Echo to a hotel? I don't
I
understand.
don't know either. That's why I said, but if that were the case or something like that, it wouldn't take much for, like I said, somebody like a maid to come in, pop the SD card in, while they're cleaning the room, take it with them, while they're gone, and boom, you've got a compromised device. So, I think the thing here is as long as you know who is accessing your Echo, you should be pretty good. And
Well, yeah.